for 60 days unless Congress has authorized military force. I want to bring in right now Republican Congressman Mike Haridopolos. He represents Florida's 8th district, which includes Brevard County. Congressman, always good to see you. So we'll start with this one, though. Why did you vote against that act?
Well, the simple reason we make sure that Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon. As you know, back in 2015, President Obama tried to get the Iranians to basically stop that program. Sadly, that did not take place. When they got all of that money, they started spending once again on terrorist activities and other actions, including trying to develop a nuclear weapon. As you know, last June, we bombed this facility, but they now are continuing to push this effort to acquire a bomb. As they're already doing destructive things, we can never allow them to acquire that bomb. And the only way to keep pressure on this group, and the only way they understand, is by force. That's why we're keeping our military options open and trying to bring them to the bargaining table so they stop the attempt to acquire a nuclear bomb, which would be destructive to not only that region, but the entire world.
But, Mike, don't you think there need to be some constraints on a president? Because this also sets the stage for down the road. If another president's in office, wouldn't it be a good idea to put these kind of constraints on a president not to continue action without Congress?
Well, as you've seen throughout the bill, which was passed in 1973, every Republican and Democrat president has said the War Powers Act is unconstitutional. What we're doing is a pragmatic thing at this point. We have made the decision that the Iranian government, to put it simply, is crazy. And if you don't push them around by force, they will continue to do crazy things, including shooting drones at hotels in the region. I mean, this is a group of people who are absolutely convinced that the only way to win is to destroy others. And as you know, they recently killed over 60,000 of their own citizens, let alone thousands of Americans since 1979. And so we think the only way to bring them to justice and to try to have some stability in the region is to keep the military pressure on. And if you recall, President Obama kept troops in for over 100 days. And of course, the Democrats didn't have any concerns about that. We want to win, and that's what this is all about.
Congressman, I want to play some of the Democratic sound here about promising to keep the pressure on the president. Listen to this, and I'll get your response.
We have to stand up and speak out and be the voice of the American people. Whether this president listens or he just does what he said, he doesn't care.
That was Congressman Meeks right there, in case you couldn't hear it very clearly. So what are your thoughts on what he had to say there?
Well, look, they're playing politics. I'm more concerned about national security. It's the same reason why we're finally passing the Homeland Security bill. The Democrats have been playing politics all year long with people's lives. We had over 10 million people enter this country illegally. Sanctuary cities allowed murderers and rapists to be out of prison. We need to simply have national security. And one way to do it is to stop the threat from Iran. I can't stress it enough. Iran is so out of control. Even their neighbors are siding with not just the United States, but their longtime enemy, Israel, because of their callous actions. We hope that we can keep the pressure on so that we can finally have some peace in the Middle East and we can drive down gas prices long term when we have stability in this region, which hasn't existed my entire lifetime.
That's true. All right, so Congressman, I want to hit on some big local news here. A lot of people may not even realize this is such a big deal, but the space industry is booming. The port is getting crowded over there. It's a huge deal, and you are getting some more money. Explain why we need to keep the efforts going there at the port.
Well, we are so excited about what's happening at the port right now. It's one of the busiest ports in the entire world, not just for cruises, but also the vital needs we have every day to fuel this growing Florida economy. And so I was able to secure over $20 million for the port to make sure they stay vibrant and ahead of the times, because we need to fuel Central Florida. This is the fuel. This is where the fuel comes in for our airports. This is the fuel at our gas stations. And remember, when the recent hurricanes hit, it was the fuel depot to make sure that no one ran out of gas. These are pragmatic, smart things to keep this economy rolling and growing, just like we're seeing with the space industry, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, which didn't even exist after President Obama, of course, got rid of the shuttle program. We're so excited about the changes.
Congressman, before we let you go here, kind of on a personal note, when you're dealing with other members of Congress up there, I know a lot of places around the country, they're falling apart, people are leaving, and yet you're dealing with so much growth. How much fun is it to tell the other Congress members that we're dealing with just amazing growth while they're having a lot of issues? It's got to be nice to put Florida on such a pedestal right now.
Well, it is fantastic. And so many of my colleagues came out, Republican and Democrat alike, for the Artemis II launch, and they saw that spectacular success here on the Space Coast. We are the future. We are investing like never before. We want to make sure that our kids in high school have the jobs of the future right in their backyard. So it is an incredible honor to represent this community, and I do it with pride every day, and also some stability. We always want to be positive and not go down in the dirt, which too often politics do.
Well, yeah, homerism isn't bad in this case because Florida is rolling right now. Congressman Mike Haridopolos, always good to see you, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you, sir. All right, it's 7:41. We'll be right back.